Here we go. Yeah, we need to turn up the volume a little bit on this. Let's see. I think we're on this one, July 10th. Yeah, I think this one was it. How does it feel when it's happening to you? My voice shakes as I yell at him. I'm not used to doing something like this. It felt so gross. But at the same time, I feel like I'm finally teaching him a lesson. He's had this coming for so long. Why are you mean? Why are you so mean to him? Wait, is this Sydney? He doesn't answer, instead slowly getting up to his feet, wiping his face with the back of his hand. I told him to come out here to make one of his treasure hunts, just so I could confront him like this. It's not going how I thought it would, though. He's just standing there, not saying anything. Finally, he starts to walk away again, shoulders slumped, ears and tails down. I feel another burst of anger following him. I quickly overtake his slow pace and shove him as hard as I can in the back. His head snaps back before he falls flat on his stomach on the ground. He stays there for a long, long time while I stare at him. I can't remember what happened after that. Did he snap his neck? Did we snap someone's neck? There's a, there's a dull throbbing in my head when I wake up. I remnant of the raging headache I had yesterday. I take some Tylenol when TJ goes into the bathroom so he doesn't see. I don't want to worry him. While he's taking one of his insanely long showers, I go down to the lobby to get some breakfast. When I come back into the room, balancing 2 plates full of bagels, bacon, and eggs, I'm surprised to see TJ is already done. He's busy brushing his fur in the mirror, trying to tame the comical flipped up look that he has going on. I can't believe I forgot my shampoo. Ugh, look at how ridiculous I look. He holds his arms out to me and Jenna. Jenna grunts, not really paying attention as she types away furiously on her laptop. I think it's kinda cute. TJ smiles. You mean funny? No, you just look a little chubby. I smirk at TJ's mortified look as I set the plates down on the table, which forces Jenna to push her laptop aside at the moment. It was for the moment, damn it. TJ opens a packet of jam and butter before spreading it neatly on a bagel cut in half. I watch as some of it sticks to the long fur around his mouth while he nibbles at it. He wipes it away with a napkin, only to start the process all over again. It's so sad to see that you're gonna spend all your time doing homework, Jenna. I'm taking 2 midterms on Monday when we get back, so it's fairly necessary, TJ. Jenna doesn't even look up from her laptop as she responds, focused solely on whatever it is that she's typing. I'm pretty sure she shoved a bagel into her mouth before she went back to work. TJ sits there quietly for a moment, taking another bite. You think you'll have time to do anything today? Jenna doesn't answer for a few seconds, the only sound the faint patter on the keyboard. Finally, she stops and looks up for the first time in probably an hour. I don't think so. I have a lot of work to do. Why don't you two go out and do something? We will. It would just be nice if you could go with us. I snort. Yeah, come with us and do more work at Janice's house again. TJ lowers his ears. Again? TJ takes another bite of his bagel and doesn't look like he's gonna say anything. I sigh. Yeah, she kinda courted him and got him to say that he'd do more work. Jenna rolls her eyes and returns her attention back to the laptop. Jenna's taking advantage of people? Shocker. Jenna, TJ protests quietly. You know she used to give me some sort of a sob story the other at the diner to get me to tip better? TJ frowns. Well, Well, she does have a tough life, Jenna. Despite being annoyed at having to go back to Janice's, I find myself sliding with TJ. I think you do whatever you can here to make money. It's probably hard to own a house just as a waitress. Yeah, well, maybe don't be a waitress in a shit crap town. She could at least try something else if it's that hard. TJ's still frowning with his ears down. I can tell he wants to say something more, but Jenna is an intimidating figure to try and argue with. It's quiet for another minute before Jenna sighs loudly. Sorry, I'm just a little stressed out right now. I have a lot of stuff to get done. It's alright, I wish we could help you out. Jenna laughs without any humor. I wish he could too. TJ falls silent, staring at the small piece of bagel held between his fingers. My phone buzzes in my pocket and I take it out, surprised to see a text from Carl. Yo! I stare at it for a moment. Huh. Okay, but I actually want to come look at this. Okay, so there's nothing here. Himalayan wool? I don't know why I still have this, but here I am. Please just talk for sending pics. Wait, can we actually... Wait, can we actually... Ah, I don't think we can. Ah, that would have been really cool though. Oh shoot. I didn't think that it would do that. Okay, so what about you? 25 species husky, single and not looking for mask, no games, be real, be clean. I like chilling with friends, good music, people who are real. Jadis. Wild dog, single. Fruit, sex is optional. Hey, if I spaz while we're fucking, don't flip out. I have a shits episode of Gorgeous and Happy Pizza. Okay. Oh boy. Chase. I don't know what you're into, but damn. Hi. Who is it? TJ asks around his last bite of bagel, holding a napkin daintily in front of his mouth as he chews. Carl. Jenna's typing stops again. Really? How's he doing? I don't know. He seems okay. I realized then that I hadn't really had a chance to ask Jenna or anyone else what had happened with Carl yesterday. Where was he? Leo said you guys found him. Yeah. Jenna pauses, staring at the screen of her laptop. What happened? I really don't know. Flynn found him in a crawl space, apparently. The crawl space? For some reason I get chills running up my arms. What in the world was he doing down there? Jenna shakes her head. When I went down there, he was just sitting on the ground and Flynn told me to leave. I raised my brows and TJ gives me a confused look. He was standing in front of him, so I couldn't see him, like if he was upset or something. What was he doing? Jenna shrugs. Flynn took him upstairs and we left after that. Was he like drunk or something? TJ seems to try and word it delicately. Jenna shrugs again, then turns back to her writing. He's always high, isn't he? I look back down at my phone. Wanna hang out? Is he that high right now? It takes a second to figure it out. When I do, I look back up at TJ. What time does Janice want us over? We'll go in the evening when it's not so hot. TJ looks down and lowers his ears again. Because I don't want TJ to get all apologetic again, I keep talking. Do you want to go hang out with Carl? TJ smiles. Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. Alright then. Sure, TJ is also coming with me. For some reason though, I can't shake the feeling that something is off. Stepping out into the parking lot, TJ immediately starts heading for the road while I pause by the car, holding my keys. TJ turns around. Huh? Are we walking? I look walk up to the road toward the foothills of the mountains. Carl's house is an intimidating speck in the distance, barely visible through the heat haze. Oh, did you want to drive? I shield my eyes against the sun, only just over the mountains, but still promising a hellscape by noon. I mean, did you want to walk? I can see TJ's demeanor deflate a little bit as he starts walking back toward me in the car. Hey, we can drive. He smiles at me, but I sigh and shove my keys back into my pocket. Nah, we can go for a walk. It'll give us more time to talk anyway. Oh, okay. TJ smiles and waits for me to catch up to him before we start up the road. While I'm not looking forward to trekking back to Janice's house in the heat, I'd rather TJ be in an upbeat mood. We're pretty quiet on the way up. It isn't until we're passing Janice's house that I finally break the silence. Man, why did you have to say yes? I groan half teasingly, shoving my shoulder into his, sending him stumbling a little ways into the road. I'm sorry. Is it so hard to say no? Well, yeah, it definitely is. I sigh. It would be fine if we weren't on vacation with friends we might never see again. TJ sulks a bit. Don't say that. Well, it's kinda true. I remember that the trip is already sort of ruined because of Flynn. Anyway, it's not that easy, Chase, especially when she's all smiling and expectant like that. You should stop letting people take advantage of you. TJ stares at the ground. Sorry. And stop apologizing. TJ flattens his ears and I realize that my tone might have been a bit too harsh. Okay, now I'm sorry. I was mostly joking, but it's frustrating to see you getting pushed around. I don't really get pushed around. I ignore him. And get taken advantage of. She doesn't take advantage of me. Why do you think she only asks you for these things? He opens his mouth, but I don't let him answer. Because she knows that you'll say yes. That's basically the definition of taking advantage of someone. I nudge him again with my shoulder, but he manages not to fall into the road this time. You gotta be a little more assertive. Stand up for yourself more often. TJ shoves his hands in his pockets. So just saying no to people? Not just when it comes to saying no. Stand up to people being mean to you too. I don't mention Flynn, but I'm pretty sure he knows where I'm getting at. I try to give him an encouraging smile, but he doesn't look at me. It feels great, man. Once you do it once, you can't stop. TJ looks away out into the desert. It sounds like you just want me to be mean to people. I shake my head. You can be nice and assertive at the same time. It's a good combination. TJ's quiet for a few minutes as we start the painful uphill portion of the trek towards Carl's mansion. I do it because I like to do it, you know. Huh? I'm starting to pan a little. My short stubby legs are already burning. I like to help her out. It feels good. Like, it makes you feel better about yourself? It makes me feel better about a lot of things. There's a sudden shift in his tone that cuts me off from saying anything else. It's a tone I'm not used to hearing from him, and I wonder if I went too far with the whole being assertive thing. I feel like there's a whole lot more going on under the surface, but now it doesn't feel the time to delve into it. I try to think of something else to talk about, to change the subject. Anyway, maybe the apologizing thing is just part of your heritage. TJ laughs, dispelling the tension easily. Maybe. Well, if you do go back, at least you'll fit in with all the nice people. It's just a stereotype, and not all that true. There were mean people in Wastic. I can't say that. Not like here, though. TJ nods. Yeah, not like here. We're quiet for a few more minutes. Carl's house promisingly close now. I'm distracted looking up at it when suddenly TJ's shoulder checks me right off the road, tripping me over my own feet into the sagebrush. Ah! What the hell? I shout as I lay in the dirt, the dust cloud clearing to reveal a mortified TJ standing up on the side of the road. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to knock you over. I'm so... He catches himself, though the horrified look is still on his face. I stare up at him for a while, then burst out laughing. I see his tail and ears relax, his floofed out fur laying back down. He smiles, seemingly relieved. Hey, you're learning! He rubs his shoulder sheepishly. I guess so. We stand a good couple of minutes on Carl's doorstep, ringing the doorbell over and over. I can hear the heavy beat of some hip-hop song through the door and ground. I swear the windows look like they're about to bust out with how much they're shaking. Finally, I send him a text and that's when the music finally stops and the door swings open. As it does, TJ and I are blasted with the wave of pot with just a touch of booze lingering underneath. Carl grins at us, his eyes bloodshot and fur mussed up. Ah, what the fuck took you guys so long to get here? TJ frowns, rubbing his nose inconspicuously. I don't think I've ever seen Carl this far gone. I stare at him as he stares back at us, his grin never wavering. I finally break the silence. Are you okay? Carl suddenly gets a very serious look on his face. Chase. Gradually, he reaches out to put both paws on my shoulders. I have. Then he smirks and sets his face sternly again. Never felt better. He brings me into a hug and whispers fiercely into my ear. I'm so glad you're here. He suddenly shoves me back and whirls on TJ, who cringes. Carl goes after him, sweeping him off his feet like the lynx is his brand new bride. Carl! Get inside before you get a heat stroke, fluff cheeks. I stand there on the doorstep as Carl takes the cat inside, TJ throwing me a wide-eyed look over the ram's broad shoulder. I stare back, wondering if this was such a good idea before stepping in. Hot smell aside, the coolness of the mansion is a welcome relief to the quickly rising heat behind me. Just in time to see Carl toss TJ into a two-cushion couch before flopping onto a bigger one across from it. He smiles at me and pats the cushion next to him. I sit down on the last cushion, leaving a space between the two of us. I'm just a little worried about how handy he's being right now. Carl shrugs and kicks up his feet on the cushion between us, tapping me with his hooves. We sit there for an agonizingly awkward 10 seconds before TJ clears his throat. So, Carl, how have you been? Carl rolls his eyes on his shoulders, snaps his gaze in the direction of TJ, who gulps. TJ, I've just been peachy, you get me? TJ's ears twitch. Yes? Supery. Carl giggles quietly to himself. He stares at the ceiling for a while, continuing to tap me with his hooves. I look down and see that they're leaving hoof-shaped prints of white dust on my pants. Man, I'm glad you guys are here. I thought I was gonna go crazy. How come? Carl interlocks his fingers behind his head. Ah, this house, man. You go crazy in it when no one's around. Once spent the night, but then he had to go to work. Ah. TJ seems to have run out of things to say, leaning back on the couch as his tail twitches around nervously. Carl doesn't seem to mind though, staring peacefully at the ceiling. I exchange glances with TJ, who shrugs worriedly at me. I look at the massive flat screen. You wanna watch something? Carl flicks his eyes to the TV. Have you seen the new Lucha Lobo movie? I have to think about that. Not since last summer, I think. I haven't. It's the fucking shit, dudes. Carl sticks his legs in the air, swiveling on his butt before launching himself off the couch to land on his hooves awkwardly. He stumbles, swallowing onto TJ's couch. The lynx tries to steady him, but the ram is off before he can, grabbing the remote. Suddenly, he spins around and tosses his phone at me, and I have to lunge to catch it. Chase, please order some goddamn pizza. I'm starving. What? I stare at his phone. He sighs loudly at me. The Giano's app, duh. It takes me a second to find it in the sea of random game apps. Oh, so... what do you guys want? I'll shove anything from Giano's into my fat face. I stare at him. So order anything. Okay. I ended up letting TJ pick the topping since he's the vegetarian. Once I've ordered the extra large pizza, Carl's already started up the movie. I didn't know anyone delivered out here. Carl sits down with the beer in his hand, and I wonder if I should tell him not to drink anymore. Honestly, I don't know if the way he's acting is more due to the pot or the drink. He grins. That's what's so great about Giano's. They'll deliver anywhere if you pay. He takes a swig and belches. Price of delivery is the same as the fucking pizza, though. He stares at me before pointing at his beer. You want one? I glance at TJ, who's already staring hard at the screen. Maybe I'll have one with the pizza. Me and Teach could have some yard work to do for Janice. Carl wrinkles his nose. Ugh, lame. Do you want to go with us, Carl? Carl thinks and gives a massive shrug. I can tag along. Might not be able to do any real work, though. He pats his stomach. Swear to God, I'll hurl. That's fine. TJ smiles, but Carl seems to be watching the movie now, which is already a few minutes into the intro. The pizza doesn't arrive for another hour. When it finally does, the slices are almost room temperature. Still, with the pizza, beer, and a movie, I start to kind of enjoy myself. By the end of it, Carl seems to have sobered up a little bit. Not a whole bunch, but to the point where he's at least coherent. He turns off the TV and sighs, flat on his back on the couch at this point. His fetlocks already on my lap, across my lap. Ugh, I'm fucking stuffed. I agree, and now I'm feeling even less inclined to go over to Janice's place. TJ's pulled out his phone and now he's staring at it with his ears lowered. I'm about to ask him what's wrong, but that's when Carl nudges me with his leg. Hey, you guys want to play a game? I look at him cautiously. What kind of game? Carl looks around, then finds a row of 3 bottles on the ground next to the couch. 2 of them are empty, 1 half empty. Never have I ever. TJ gives a nervous laugh. But Carl, I don't drink. Give it a try. I frown, giving Carl a look. Or we could just do 10 fingers. You don't have to drink for that one. Carl pouts. Wow, you're boring as hell today, Chase. Alright, fine, we'll do both. You guys can do the 10 fingers bullshit. He struggles to sit up, burping again while he does. He leans over with a groan and picks up his beer. Okay, I'll go first. I hold the 10 fingers and TJ does the same, somewhat reluctantly. Never have I ever. Carl seems to think hard and grins. That's it. TJ's ears flatten and I glare at Carl. Really? We're going there already? Carl shrugs. What? That's the first question everyone always asks. I lower a finger, still glaring. Isn't this a game about getting to know things about people you didn't already know about? I look over at TJ, not surprised to see all of his fingers still up, though he's still blushing. I'm surprised you haven't, though. You've had girlfriends. Carl sneers at me. Turns out having to lift up my own gut so that they can suck me off turns them off. Never gone past that. So they still sucked you off. Blowjobs don't count. Yeah they do. It's called oral sex? Nah, man. I suddenly become very aware of the beet red lake sitting across from us. I cough loudly and sit up straight, trying to think of something that's interesting, but still G-rated for TJ. Never have I ever been in a physical fight, I mean. Carl takes a drink, TJ's fingers stay up. Who did you fight? The fuck have you been? Remember Clint? Oh, yeah. TJ starts to lower his finger too, then stops. Well, he mostly attacked us. We didn't really fight back, so it's not really a fight. Oh. Okay. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna make a few save slots here. Hold on, you guys. I'll be right back. Okay, let me make 3 save slots here because I have no idea what that's gonna do. Grab him by the neck? Carl shrugs. Me and Flynn have gotten into it before. Well, you already took a drink, so... I look over at TJ. Your turn. Okay, do these actually do anything? Save slot 1. Oh dear. I didn't expect that. never tries to get back up? Well, you already took a drink, so... I look over at TJ. Your turn. TJ looks off to the side, seeming to think hard. Well, never have I ever failed a test. TJ grins. I lower a finger, smirking, but Carl lets out a snort. Cute. The amount of disdain in his voice has me looking over him, but he's already chugging down his beer. His burp seems to shake the couch. Alright. Never have I ever kissed a dude. Carl! What? I've never actually seen you kiss Leo, so, oh wait, maybe I have. Eh. He shrugs again. I lower a finger, rolling my eyes. TJ, of course, doesn't. As I'm trying to think of my own question, I suddenly feel something warm press against the side of my face. I blanch away out of instinct and turn to find Carl with his eyes closed and lips puckered. Carl! TJ sits on the couch, his face a portrait of comically cartoonish look. Alright, now I have. Carl takes a big gulp of beer. I'm not sure how to react, but TJ's reaction is enough to make the whole thing seem funny, instead of like sexual harassment. I mean, you can't do it after the question's been asked, right? Carl puts his chin up on his fist, fluttering his eyes in a way that he probably thinks is seductive. You can look it up if you want. I shake my head, wiping the side of my face as I try to think. Ugh, never have I ever flown in an airplane. Carl and TJ both lower a finger. Really? That's crazy. I shrug. Hardly have ever been out of state in my life. That's tragic. It kinda is. And so it goes. The game continues for another 20 minutes. Most of the questions are innocent though. Still, I notice that every time TJ takes a turn, Carl gets more and more agitated. Never have I ever done drugs, never have I ever been late to class, never have I ever gotten less than an A- in class. Still, I can't tell if that's TJ, if that TJ is directing it mostly at me, partly because he's being mischievous, and partly because I think he's genuinely trying to figure me out. Carl's mood continues to sour though, and it all seems to build until the 6th round. Never have I ever been in a car accident. I lower a finger. You crashed before. I mock glare at him. Why do you automatically assume it was my fault? Oh, sorry. My dad was driving and we got rear-ended. Oh. That's when I notice that Carl hasn't spoken at all since the question was asked. I look over at him and see that he's got the bottle resting on his knee as he watches TJ. I lean over to poke at him. Hey, you okay? He glances at me before turning back to TJ. You knew I'd been in an accident. TJ looks up at Carl confused. I did? Yeah, I told you at the motel when you first got here. Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, okay. TJ continues to look confused. Carl stares at his lap for a while, and I start to wonder if the game is over. Then he looks up and stares at TJ, rubbing his chin. He seems to be thinking hard. Never have I ever. We wait. Carl smiles. Never have I ever killed someone. What follows is dead silence. Carl stares straight at TJ, still with a smile on his face. TJ looks confused. That's a weird thing to say. Is it? TJ freezes up as if ice-cold water had been dumped over his head. I look at Carl slowly, but he's not looking at me at all. TJ's clenched paws rest in his lap, his face expressionless, almost as if we realize what Carl is getting at. We sit in that silence for what feels like almost a minute. Carl finally breaks the frozen portrait that we're all leaning back into the back of the couch. You know, my life has been going downhill since that happened. TJ and I don't say anything, both of us watching Carl. School, grades, drugs, whatever. I don't know, it seems like all that started after whatever it is that happened. Carl looks pointedly at TJ again. Carl. My voice comes out shocked and bewildered. I seem to get through to him a little bit, his long ears flicking down briefly. TJ continues to stare back at him, and I'm reminded of how he looked when Flynn was having to go at him. Carl finally looks down, away from TJ. So I was in the crawl space the other day, and I found an old letter from Sydney. I don't say anything, and neither does TJ. Carl waits a while, then goes on. I haven't opened it, but it said it was a treasure hunt on the front. A treasure hunt. Sydney absolutely loved treasure hunts. He was always making them in his spare time. They were usually pretty bad, and the prizes at the end were always pretty awful. It would always take some time convincing on his part to get us to go on one. I don't know why I have it, but it's made me. Carl stops talking and closes his eyes, pressing himself deeper into the soft cushions of the couch. Maybe if we knew what happened, we could fix some of our problems. TJ finally stands up, and Carl's eyes snap open when he does. I watch him too, having no idea what he's about to do. Because with the look at his face, I wonder if he's about to actually do something violent, attack Carl or something. His expression is dark, not like I've ever seen him, even when Flynn was yelling at him. Instead, though, he just stands there for a few moments staring at Carl. Carl looks away again, his ears are lowered. Self-improvement starts with realizing what the actual problem is, Carl. That doesn't sound like TJ at all. Not even the voice. Carl seems shocked as well as he finally looks up at the links. Stop blaming others and start blaming yourself. His voice is calm and smooth, but it's ice cold. TJ turns on his heel and stalks toward the door, his fur fluffed out. I finally snap out of it and stand up as TJ opens the door. I take one last look at Carl as he slumped onto the couch, his head down. I'll call you later, okay, Carl? Carl doesn't say anything. So with that, I hurry out the door, and that left TJ open. TJ left open. I catch up to the links about 100 yards down the road, trying to match his brisk pace. It's late afternoon at this point, and the heat hits me like a ton of bricks. Sweat already threatens to drip off my chin as I approach TJ. He slows down when he hears me panting, letting me catch up. We walk in silence for a good 15 minutes, and I almost jump when TJ finally speaks up. Can you believe he did that? I take a few deep breaths, gathering the time I need to form a response. I think he was just really high and drunk. TJ shakes his head. He knew what he was saying. Hey Bandit, how's it going? Welcome on in. The Blepper welcomes you. But, yeah, Carl just said a little bit of things that made TJ upset. Yeah, he was not having it. TJ was not having it. Sure, but his inhibitions are down. TJ isn't as upset as I thought he would be. At least not in the way that I thought he would be. That, don't tell me my heart can't take it. Instead, he seems more angry than anything. But yeah, I hope you're having a good day, good night, good evening, whatever the time zone is for you, buddy. It's good to have you here. I think it's because he's been talking to Flynn. Who knows what he's been saying to him? That could definitely be the case. TJ finally sighs and stares at the ground, and his ears are falling. I can tell he's about to finally start crying, so I quickly put my arm around his shoulders. Hey, it's okay. He was seriously drunker than I've ever seen him. He's not gonna remember any of this. He doesn't look up. TJ, you're a huge reason why we've all stuck together at this point. TJ doesn't say anything, and I see his eyes watering up. I could be making it worse, but I give his shoulder another squeeze. You're the glue, and like you said, Carl's blaming his own problems on everyone else. This has nothing to do with you. TJ sighs, leaning against me a little. I take this as a good sign and I nudge him. Listen, let's just get to Janice's place and get those chores out of the way. After that we can get some ice cream at Ray's, okay? Alright. TJ lets out a small laugh as we continue down the road for another 10 feet like that. Then he suddenly pulls away from me, faces me, and hugs me tight. He buries his face in my chest as I feel his fingers clench into the back of my shirt. He holds me like that for a long time. We get to Janice's house a good half hour later, me covered in sweat, TJ airing out his shirt. It's 5 at this point, but the sun is still pounding down on the back of my head like a lead weight. Janice opens the door almost the second we knock, and I can tell immediately that something's off. First of all, she's got no pants on. I catch a glimpse of her large white panties before I snap my eyes back up, staring hard at the coyote's face. I can't see TJ, but by the funny way that he's breathing, I'm pretty sure that he's noticed as well. Janice spreads out her hands, grinning. Well, I'll be, you made it. We gonker her for another few seconds before TJ finally squeaks out. Yeah, course. Janice suddenly steps forward toward the lynx, the cups, and cups his face in her hands. I keep my eyes up, trying to focus on her face. She squishes TJ to the point where his lips burst out a little bit. You, TJ, are a lifesaver, you know that? She says that sincerely, and I can see TJ trying to pull it back. Unfortunately, it also looks like the coyote has a good grip on his face because everything but his head moves back. Uh, thank you, Janice. TJ tries to speak from his squashed face. Janice, what did you want us to do today? I break in, hoping to move her attention away from ripping TJ's cheeks off. She seemed really enjoying the tufts of fur there. Ah, Chase, you here too? Yeah, we were gonna work on it together. Well, alright. How about I head out there and show you two? My eyes flick down to her bottom half for just a second, and I immediately regret it. There's no way around it. You want to get dressed first? Huh? Janice looks down. Oh, that! Well, I've just gotta apologize now. I was in the middle of getting ready for work. I just forgot what I was doing. I glance at TJ, then quickly back to the coyote. Oh well, we can wait. Nonsense, it'll only take a sec. I'm left open-mouthed, following the coyote automatically as TJ follows closely behind me. A quick glance around reassures me that there isn't anyone around at the moment, but if someone does come around... Janice marches us out to the back, the few wooden remnants of the shed that we'd moved earlier. She points at the ground. I want you two to dig a hole right here. TJ stays just slightly behind me, as if using me as a shield to Janice's shameless immodesty. A hole? Yep, and a rectangle from here to here. That is not ominous at all. And 3 feet wide, at least 3 feet deep, if not more. Let's try to get through this quick. Okay, what are we doing this for? Janice stops, scratching the back of her head. A pool. Gotta have a pool back here. A pool? Yeah, a nice little pool. She grins at us and I quickly nod at her. Okay, we'll get right to work. Shovel's in the garage, right? I'm doing everything I can to get her back inside. Yep, need anything else? I can make you lemonade before I leave. No, we'll just get water if we need it. Well, alright, no need to finish it today if you can't. I know how hot it is. Why is she asking to have them dig what almost appears to be like a grave? Janice turns to leave, but not before reaching out and pinching TJ's cheek almost viciously. He squints his eyes, ears flattening as he just stands there and takes it. And with that, she humps her way back to the house. I wait until I hear the door close. Oh my god, she's gone insane. TJ stays quiet, staring at the spot on the ground that Janice marked out. Seriously, maybe we should go. No, she's probably just having another off day or something. I shake my head. And this is definitely not a pool. TJ kicks at the dirt and I shiver and see a small spider skitter across the ground. Either she's lost it and we're doing nothing here, or we're digging a grave. Oh, come on, Chase. This was a bad idea. I hear the garage door opening and shut my mouth. A car engine starts up and then I see an old rusty white sedan pull out into the driveway. Janice waves at us and blows a kiss, which I'm pretty sure is directed at TJ. Then she peels off like she's drag racing to the diner that's less than a mile away. So, who do you think she's on her way to murder? Stop. I look back at TJ. You think she even put her pants on? TJ shudders and looks back at the ground. Let's just get this done. Then I promise I won't do any more chores for her, okay? I sigh. Alright, just remember whose fault this is if this ends up being our grave. The work is tougher than I thought it would be. We both stare at opposite ends of the little trench that we are making. Janice said that we should do more than 3 feet if we could, but this whole thing is total bullshit. Which I'm sure it is. Then I'm not doing any more than the minimum. I'm at least glad to see TJ returning back to his cheerful, bubbly self. We even almost got into a dirt-clawed war, but that comes to a quick end when I hit TJ in the thigh with a rock-filled one. About 2 hours later, the sun is comfortably low. We're a little over halfway done. It's at that point that I get a text message from Carl. I take a quick glance at my phone, seeing a one-word apology of sorry. I look back at it for a while until TJ finally peers up. Everything okay? I debate whether or not to tell him now that he's in such a good mood. It's hard to tell exactly what will make TJ feel better or worse, I've come to realize. Still, I think he can tell who it's probably from already, judging by how slanted his ears back are. It's from Carl. Just says sorry. Ah. TJ stops digging, pressing his shovel into the darker, moist dirt at the bottom of the trench. That's it? That's it. Are you gonna respond? I don't know. Should I? TJ starts digging again. Yeah. TJ tilts his head down. I need to apologize too. Yeah, that seems more like TJ. Well, what should I say? TJ stops digging again and looks up at me. Uh, I look up at him expectantly. Okay, so I'm trying to be more assertive, like you said. Oh? I didn't expect him to say that. Is that why? TJ looks down, so I stop myself. Is that why he acted so strange at Carl's mansion? Sorry, never mind. What were you saying? So I'm just gonna say this. I was thinking about that treasure hunt that Carl found. For a moment, I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, the thing that he found in the crawl space? I was just thinking. TJ leans on the shovel's handle, looking away. I'm thinking that we should open it. Together. Okay. I say it slowly, realizing how delicate of a topic this is. Is there a reason why you want to open it? TJ sighs deeply, looking up at the deep red-orange sky. I feel like... I always feel like things happen for a reason, and we were just talking about finding closure yesterday. Okay. So, I feel like this might be the way to do it. Maybe. Read what he had to say. Maybe go on one of his last hunts. TJ swallows hard. I can sort of see where he's coming from. Sydney always wrote stupid riddles and stories with his treasure hunts. It might mean something to read something that he wrote so long ago. Okay. I keep coming up short with what I want to say. Again, I can see why TJ might think this is the answer, but I'm not so sure. Well, I guess I can ask Carl about it. Do you want everyone there? Maybe just us. I can let the others read it later if they want. I don't think Flynn. I nod quickly. Yeah, that makes sense. So, you want to do that tomorrow? See if we can do it tonight. We've only got a few days left, and this is making me nervous. TJ gives us a tight laugh. Yeah, Sydney's treasure hunts could probably be elaborate. Could be pretty elaborate. Oh yeah, definitely. Are we starting to be able to talk about him normally again? Maybe TJ's right about this. Okay, I'll text him back and ask if I can call him. Okay. It takes me a little bit to figure out how to word TJ's request. Hey man, can TJ and I come over and talk? While we wait for Carl's response, TJ abruptly looks back up at me. Are you and Carl, friendly with each other? Huh? I mean, how he kissed you. What? No! I laugh. That was just Carl being drunk. Okay. TJ goes back to digging, his ears twitching around. I grin. What, are you jealous? No! He says it way too fast and loud. Hey, if you want to give me a kiss, I don't mind. TJ doesn't respond, instead focusing hard on the ground that he's digging up. Aw, if you're shy, I can do it instead. I see his eyes widen, but he still doesn't say anything. I make kissy sounds at him, and that's when he flings some dirt up at me, smattering my pants with dark brown spots. Ah, come on! I see TJ smirk as he goes right back to work. I'm thinking about picking up another dirt clod, but that's when my phone buzzes again. Okay. We walk slowly up the length of Carl's driveway, our shadows covering the entire length of the light of the sunset. TJ's starting to drag his feet again as we get closer to the door, and I stop to look back at him. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. You sure? We don't have to do this today. We can come by tomorrow. TJ shakes his head, taking a swig of water from a water bottle that we bought from the convenience store on the way here. No, I'm just a little tired. It's been a long day. Yeah. I wait for TJ to catch up, then match his stride as we make our way up to the sidewalk, then up the steps to the door. TJ doesn't do anything, instead just gripping onto his water bottle, making the plastic creak. I wait another second, then reach out across TJ to press the doorbell. The faint, fancy chime emanates from behind the door for a few seconds, followed by the clopping of Carl's hoops on the wooden floor. There's a pause once he reaches the door, and I imagine him hesitating as he reaches for the door handle. A second later, though, it swings open, revealing a very bleary, red-eyed ram. Carl blinks at us a few times through the bright orange sun behind us. Finally, he steps aside, opening the door wider. Hey guys. As I pause as I wait to see if TJ will say anything. When he doesn't, I clear my throat and step forward through the door. Hey man, you okay? Not really. I don't say anything in return, instead spreading my arms out in the cool air of the mansion. I turn around and wait as TJ steps through the doorway, links framed by the golden sunlight, the fine hairs of his fur lit up like white hot wires. I see Carl's hand that's now on the door sort of twitch, like he's grabbing something in the air. Hey. TJ stands next to me, looking back at Carl. Hello. Carl rubs vigorously at his arm. Listen. Carl pauses. I get the idea that he's wanting TJ to tell him that everything's okay so that he doesn't have to explain anything. That would definitely make things easier. But he doesn't say anything, just watches the ram. Carl rubs behind his head for a second, looking back up the door. I'm not sure why it's so hard for him to apologize to TJ. I thought it was weird that Carl had apologized to me instead of the Lynx in the first place. Listen. Carl takes in a big shuddery breath, blowing it out loudly. I was really messed up earlier. I wasn't thinking right. TJ continues to watch Carl silently. His ears are up now, at least. Carl stutters and stumbles over a few more syllables before he continues. I just wasn't thinking straight. He scuffs the hardwood floor loudly with the hoof. I don't think he did anything like that. I was just pissed off. TJ's quiet for a few more seconds, but Carl doesn't offer anything more. So, why were you angry? Carl sighs, then leans his head back against the door, his horns knocking loudly against it. You said some shit that I'm assheard about, okay? It wasn't your fault. TJ folds his arms, looking down. What was it that I said? Carl shakes his head. Stupid shit. I mean, stupid because of me. Stuff about school, car accidents, just brought up old stuff for me. But I didn't think you ever did anything like I said. I was just being a huge dick. I'm sorry. His voice breaks a little at the end and he quickly looks at the floor and his ears down. TJ again is quiet. I think about changing the subject now that the apology is out of the way. TJ speaks first. Thanks, Carl, and I'm sorry I brought up stuff like that. I'll try to remember in the future. Carl shakes his head, looking back up. It's not your fault. We stand there awkwardly for a few more seconds. I guess I thought maybe Flynn had been saying stuff to you. That's why he said it. Huh? Oh. Carl's non-denial hangs heavy in the air. I haven't seen Flynn in days, and I'm wondering what he's been up to all in that time. I'll have to ask Carl when TJ isn't around. As of now, though, I want to change the subject because things are getting awkward. So, TJ had an idea about the scavenger hunt thing. Carl looks up at me as if I'm now realizing that I'm there. Scavenger hunt? Oh yeah, the treasure hunt. TJ scratches his arm looking embarrassed. Sydney's treasure hunt, huh? You mean, Sydney's treasure hunt? TJ scratches harder at his arm, looking more and more flustered, so I jump in. Yeah, we were thinking about actually doing it to maybe find some closure. Carl frowns. Really? TJ stops scratching at his arm, his ears coming back up. Yeah, I believe things happen sorry about that. I believe things happen for a reason. That you found it now that we're all here, it means something, I think. Man, I mean, it's really old. You even think any of that stuff would be out there right now? Maybe, but I guess I'm not really looking to find anything. It's like a thing that we can do while we remember him. I think it's a good way to find closure. I try to back up TJ under Carl's somewhat bewildered stare. The ram strokes his chin. I guess that sort of makes sense. I mean, if you're okay with doing it. TJ squares his stance, looking up. I am. It's been so long feeling this way. I feel like this might be our last chance to do something. Carl looks over at me. I nod, indicating that I feel the same way. I don't fully understand this new direction in TJ either, but I sure as hell supported him. Well, okay then. I'll go grab it. You want to just open it now? Let's go to the motel or something with Jenna there too. Okay. Carl finally shuts the door before making his way to the stairs. TJ seems to deflate then, his shoulders hunching back in. That wasn't so bad. I mumble to him once I think Carl's out of earshot. Yeah, it was okay. We stand there awkwardly as we wait. The whole situation is so strange. Carl comes back with a crumpled-looking white envelope in his hands. TJ's eyes, TJ eyes it, the fur standing up on the back of his neck. So, you dudes want to drive back to the motel, or? Actually, we didn't drive. Carl drops his hand to his sides. Are you frickin' serious? I can't walk in that heat. TJ did. I tug up some of the fur on the link's neck to show Carl. TJ actually jumps a bit and I quickly let go. I want to ask him what's wrong, but Carl keeps talking. Man, I'm gonna smell like shit once I get there. The sun's almost gone anyway. Carl smirks at me. I sweat walking in the winter time. You can take a shower at the motel. Carl blows his breath out loudly, frowning. Okay, but I'm gonna put on more deodorant before we go. The walk back isn't so bad. Carl makes it out to be a lot worse than it is with all his gasping and wiping his face constantly. TJ gets a text from Jenna to meet her at the diner instead of the motel, since she's going to be there for dinner anyway. Once we walk in, Carl lets out a gasping groan of relief that turns a few heads. Jenna looks up from the corner booth and waves at us. I wave back and start making my way over. I'm going to the bathroom. Gotta wipe my pits. TJ makes a sour face as he follows me to the table. Jenna scoots in so we can slide in next to her. So what's this all about? Carl found a treasure hunt that Sydney made. Jenna toys with her brown leather purse, staring at it. Okay, like a map or something? A letter. What are you gonna do with it? Well, I look over at TJ, but he doesn't say anything, instead looking out the window at the sunset. We're thinking about doing it. You're thinking about going on the treasure hunt? Yeah. I mean... Jenna pauses, clearly trying to choose her words carefully. I mean, would there be anything left of it at this point? It would have been at least 11 years old by now. Jenna looks over at TJ, studying his reaction. He doesn't give her anything though, still staring out at the window. I spread my hands out on the table, instantly regretting it as I feel the grease slide around under the pads. We're seeing it more and more as a closure thing, a send-off. We're not really expecting to find something. TJ finally looks back at us. He made it for us, so I feel like we should do it. For him. Jenna stares back down at her purse. I guess Flynn won't be involved. No. And Leo? He's gonna be busy for the most of the week. I don't think he'd really want to anyway. Why not? Now TJ looks like he's trying to choose his words carefully. He pretends like it never happened. I don't want to bring it back up for him. No one says anything until Carl shows back up, the fur on his head and his face a little wet. Hey Jenna. Carl. Jenna nods at him as he sits across from me. He reaches across the table, snatching up a menu from the metal holder in the center. I'll pay if anyone wants something. Jenna curls her lips in disgust, but I'm starving, so I start browsing the menu as well. TJ goes back to staring out the window, and I can see his ears switching around. So, where's this treasure hunt thing? Carl looks up and sees that Jenna's staring at him. Huh? Oh, I have it. I'm gonna order it real quick though. Chase is ready. I nod and Carl waves his menu at Janice, who quickly bustles our way with a tray of glasses of water. She's wearing pants now, but there's definitely still something off about her. Her eyes are still wide. Her smile is more like a grimace as she sets down her glasses and straws. She takes our orders well though, and Jenna waits patiently as Carl and I order a meal and TJ gets a smoothie. Carl methodically tears off one end of the wrapper off his straw before he blows out the other end, shooting the rest of the wrapper at me. Uh-oh. Whew, that scared me for a moment. I thought that my stream died. Like I think I saw it die for a little bit, but we're back I guess. I flinch and try to catch it, failing as it falls to the floor. Jenna clears her throat loudly. So where is it? Carl looks at her, the straw still in his mouth. Huh? Oh, right. Carl reaches into his pocket and pulls out the envelope. He pushes on it to the table face up. There's writing in black marker on the front. Treasure hunt number 7. We all stare at it. Should I read it? Carl sets a hand down on the letter. Or someone else. Carl's eyes briefly flick over to TJ, then quickly look back down at the letter. TJ's hand comes up, then surreptitiously he scratches at an ear before letting it fall back into his lap. It does seem appropriate that TJ open it, but if he doesn't want to... Carl looks just as hesitant, so I finally reach out and gently slide it from under his hand. I can read it. No one objects, so I open it carefully, not wanting to rip anything as I pry the adhesive apart. A chill goes up from my spine for some reason. A strange surreal vision comes to my mind's eye of inky blackness leaking out of the envelope, spilling slowly across the table. I can feel it too, like a cold draft is wafting from inside. I pause, feeling an emptiness in my chest. What the hell? I give my head a small shake, breaking out of the trance. I guess it's only natural I feel this way. That's Sydney's handwriting on a letter sealed after he licked it. He loved making these treasure hunts. It's really sad, so it makes sense that I feel the sudden drop in mood. I swallow as I continue to pry it open, the feeling getting worse and worse as I do. When it's finally fully open, the feeling slowly subsides. Tension in the air seems to melt away too, like the whole town just let out a sigh of relief. I look up for a moment at the others, wondering if they're feeling the same way. It's hard to tell as they're all looking intently down at my hands. I quickly look down again and stick my fingers inside, feeling a piece of paper to catch on a pad. Gently I press down on it and slowly slide it from the envelope. It's a bright white copy paper, folded once in half. It's been creased so long that it's starting to part at the fold, in the middle part so the edges are barely holding it together. Black blotches bleed through the paper, probably written with the same thick marker that was used for the envelope. I gently unfold it, not wanting to rip it apart more than it already has been. The big blocky black letters are sloppy and childish. Even though it's only a few sentences, it covers the entire page. The last few words trail off into a tiny, almost illegible scrawl. It drew himself to the side of the paper as Sydney realized he'd ran out of room at the end. Okay, I clear my throat and start reading aloud. Welcome to treasure hunt number 7. This is the biggest one so far and it took a long time. So no cheating this time. I'm talking about you, Carl and Chase. No skipping steps. First clue. These things fly really high. It's in their home with my comb. Chase, you don't have to do this one as I know you hate it. You'll see if you figure it out. Good luck, guys. Sid. I feel my throat close up just as I stare down at his name. He always wanted to go by Sid, but it never stuck with, so none of us ever did. It just didn't suit him. I look back up at the others. Carl is still staring at the paper and TJ's looking out the window again. Jenna has a hand up to her mouth, staring as well. Wow. Then she wipes at her eyes and I look away. I guess I never really thought about how this might affect Jenna. She and Sydney never really got along because of the way that he treated TJ. But still, he was just a kid like the rest of us. Carl lets out a ragged cough. That whole cheating thing was totally you, Chase, not me. I look up at Carl, raising a brow. You're the one who told me to do it. Carl smirks. And you're the one that did it. What did you do? TJ asks quietly from his corner, finally looking away from the window. Well, Sydney liked to reuse certain hiding spots. I mean, there were only so many places that he could use. Yeah, and Chase went straight to Sydney's mailbox and ruined the whole thing like a boss. I was like 8. Turned out it was the last spot and he got the prize. Carl makes a finger quotes around the last word. Yeah, one of those plastic wrapper things we used to get in elementary school for reading a lot. He was so mad. Yeah. I remember dropping it on the ground because of how lame it was. I also remember Sydney crying, but I'm not going to bring that up. Carl seems to have at least lightened the mood though, and Jenna stopped wiping her eyes. I was starting to think TJ was right about this whole closure thing. I know what he's talking about for this one though. I tapped the paper with the finger. Yeah, it's the birdhouse. Birdhouse? Where is that? The forest. TJ sits up straight, ears as well. The birdhouse is on one of the trees close to the road. Oh, well, I never went there because of all the stuff that would get in my fur. TJ looks back out the window, the sun gone now, though the clouds in the sky are all tinge red. You guys want to do it tonight? Really? It's getting kinda late, we still gotta eat. Carl looks eagerly over at the front counter though, the small rectangle that led to the kitchen. We can use Chase's car. Besides, it might be kinda fun in the dark. TJ adds the last bit meekly. Hell no? As long as you guys know where it is, it shouldn't be a problem. I gently fold the paper back up and start tucking it back into the envelope. What does he mean by saying that you don't have to do that one, Chase? I look up at TJ, then back down on the letter as I gently press the lid of the envelope closed. I thought I saw something. I got scared one time. A long time ago, though. At least that's what I think he was talking about. Jenna clears her throat, seeming to have collected herself. I think I remember that. My parents told me about it. I frowned. Really? I didn't like the idea of that. What did you see? I shrugged. Person in the trees. A hanging purse. Ew. TJ shudders. So hell fucking no going there tonight then. Sorry for the F word, Tej. It's fine. I saw a lot of things as a kid. I'm not going to tell them how I'm definitely still scared of that place. Besides, TJ looks really eager to start this, so I'm not going to ruin it for him. But really, that's not what's bothering me right now. I look down at my hands as I try to work out a timeline in my head. When was it that incident happened in the forest? I thought it had been 10 at the time since that's when I started going to a psychiatrist. And I'd started going because of that. But that would be impossible because here we are. A plate with the massive burger and steak fries lands in front of my face. Big Coyote sets out a smoothie for TJ and an even bigger veggie burger down for Carl. Hey Janice, is Julian working today? Janice smiles at TJ. No dear, he's only here when I'm not. He'll be in tomorrow if you're looking to find him. Okay, thanks. Janice then clutches her tray to her chest, then watches us for a moment. Listen, Chase and TJ, why don't you come by my house again when you get the chance? I look up at Janice and see that she's got a strange look on her face, confused and worried looking. Well, what's wrong, Janice? TJ's voice is full of concern. Did we do something wrong? No, you did everything wonderfully. I just want to have a talk about the way I acted the past few days. Janice lets out an exasperated sounding laugh. Not really sure what came over me, just now realizing how strange it all was. She glances at Carl. But we can talk about it later, in person. Enjoy your dinner! She bustles off, tray still held against her body. Carl watches her go, stuffing a few fries in his mouth. What was that about? The way Janice looked at Carl makes me think that she doesn't want him knowing about what had happened. I think she just feels bad for making this work so much. I look over meaningfully at TJ. Oh, yeah, maybe. TJ quickly starts sucking on the straw. Well, she should. Jenna's sitting back in the booth, having taken out her brush to start grooming the fur on her face and head. I inconspicuously slide my plate a little further away from her. Well, once we finish, we can go get in my car and head to the forest. As I lift my burger and take a bite, I look over at the counter where I see Janice leaning over her notepad. Her shoulders are shaking and it takes me a moment to realize that she's crying. The forest is really just a patch of trees on the side of the road near Leah's house. While it's technically small, it still covers several acres where it's enough to get lost in. The sky is a soft blue now, just enough light to see by. It won't be long before that won't be the case though. I pull off to the side of the road in the spot where I think the birdhouse might be. It's been well over a decade since the last time I've seen it. This is probably where the treasure hunt's gonna end considering the time that's passed. The birdhouse probably isn't even there anymore. We all step out of the car into the warm evening air. Carl folds his arms out into the hood of the car and grins at me. See, even with the sun gone, it's still roasting. At least you can drive me home now. Yeah. I look over at Leo's house, but his truck is gone. TJ catches my glance. I might tell him what's going on if we find something, and he wanted to join us. TJ picks at his claws. It's alright. I give him a quick side hug as we step up to the edge of the trees. I can see why TJ doesn't want to tell Leo about this. He was right about Leo pretending it didn't happen. I can't imagine it would go well about him about dredging up old Sydney scavenger hunts. So, where is it? Jenna looks into the empty ditch between us and the forest, wrinkling her nose at the old scraps of garbage inside. Well, Carl looks up and down at the tree line, squinting. Kinda looks different now, but I think it's about here. It's only like 10 feet in, right? Carl looks at me. That sounds about right. We can fan out and check all the trees that close to the road. TJ jumps across the ditch lightly, much more lightly than the clumsy hop that I execute right after. I land unevenly on the opposite incline and windmill down my arms as I lean back. Carl starts laughing before I even fall, but TJ reaches out and grabs me by the shirt, yanking me up from the ditch. I fall into him awkwardly and quickly take a step back, brushing myself off even though there isn't anything on me. Are you okay? I'm fine, thanks. I glare over at Carl, who's still laughing. Did you even try, man? He leaps over easily, clearing the ditch along with a few more feet. That's not fair, I'm an otter. Don't let that hold you back from achieving your dreams. Jenna likes to delicately step around the garbage before climbing up the other side. It's okay, you swim better than any of us, Chase. I sigh. Thanks, TJ. I turn back to the forest, which is much darker as the light struggles to filter through the branches and leaves. Well, let's start before it gets too dark. As we spread out amongst the trees, I'm stuck with how quiet it is. The only sound is the crunch of our feet on the dead vegetation that starts to fade as the others move further away from me. I zigzag through the trees trying to look back at their full circumferences. From what I remember, the birdhouse was a plain old wooden thing that hardly stood out from the trunk that it was attached to. We might not even be able to see it if we were looking right at it. While it's been a long time, walking between these trees does bring back memories. We stopped coming here after what happened to Sydney, mainly because this was his favorite place to hang out. He liked to play capture the flag here. I can still remember how fast he was, how I'd only catch glimpses of his tail between the trees before he disappeared with the flag. His team won almost every time. The summer of 2002 was the last time we played. Sydney had even been getting along better with TJ then. That might have been the best summer of my life until it happened. It was almost like Echo saw us having too much fun and wanted to end it. For good. Sydney had still been a dick though. The image of Sydney whipping TJ mercilessly with the towel we used as the flag comes to mind. I moved closer to the edge of the tree line before slanting back in again. Looking up between the branches, I see the sky is a darker blue now. Pretty soon it'll be pitch black. It was about this light the last time. It was about this light the last time I was here. I'd come al- oh, I come alone and I was 10, maybe 9. It's hard to remember now, but I think I'd gone there because I was sad. I had good memories of the forest, so I thought going there might make me feel better. I was standing in the forest, waiting to see if I did feel better. It didn't happen, so I sat down on the leaves and started crying. I was there for maybe 5 minutes before I heard some branches creaking above me. I looked and saw the feet. Oh, okay. This confused me, so I stood up and backed away, staring at until I slowly realized I was seeing a fox being hung by its neck. Even now I can remember the way he looked. His overalls and his white shirt. His head had been tilted down toward me, like his tongue lolling out of his muzzle, and his eyes are blank. I can even remember what looked like the pinkish red blood on the white fur of his chin. Then I tripped over a branch, and that's when I looked back up, and he was gone. I can't remember much after that except that I'd gone home and told my parents. That ended up with me seeing a doctor. They never found anything wrong with me, at least anything that might relate to seeing things. In the end, we were told that sometimes kids hallucinate, that it would stop happening as I got older. I hugged myself, feeling cold and a little scared now that I brought up that old memory. While I know that I was at the age where kids hallucinate most often, I still can't get it out of my I still can't get it out of my mind how real it had been. Still, that's not exactly what's giving me the chills right now, because I just realized that it had been the summer after Sydney passed. That's why I was so sad, because I remember how happy the summer was before it had been before that. So what Sydney wrote doesn't make sense, unless I'm going crazy. A creek behind me makes me jump and I whirl around, eyes scanning the branches, terrified of what I might find. But there was nothing there, just branches creaking in the wind. I stare for a while longer before a shout from far down the line of trees makes me jump. I found it! It's TJ's voice, high-pitched and excited. I shake myself out of my trance and start jogging down to where the Lynx's voice came from. Maybe I've confused things and I'm just remembering things incorrectly. It's the only thing that makes sense. As I come up on the Lynx, Carl and Jenna are already there, standing around a tree trunk. Sure enough, it was the little wooden birdhouse tied to a trunk with rusty wires. I can't believe it's still here. It does look pretty beat up. Jenna points to the little wooden plug in the opening. Hey, look at that. It's closed up. Think it's been closed this whole time? I don't know. Maybe. TJ pokes at the plug with a claw, then grips around the edges with all his claws gently before pulling the wooden cork-like thing out. Thick, sticky looking trail of cobweb follows it. We all stare into the dark hole that's revealed. Chase, want to reach in there? We're sure there aren't any spiders. I shiver involuntarily. I don't really want to either. Jenna sighs before pushing past TJ. Bending over, she picks up a twig and sticks it into the hole before twirling it around. When she pulls it back out, it's like she's made a cotton candy cone of spider webs. She drops that and takes out her phone, turning on the flash before holding it up to the opening. Well, we all wait anxiously for her to say something. There is something here. With that, she reaches in with just her fingers. After a few crinkly sounds, she pulls out a Ziploc bag and inside is a folded up piece of paper and a blue comb. Holy shit, no way! Well, no one ever comes back here, so I guess it all makes sense. He actually put a comb in there to make it rhyme. Jenna makes a few jerky motions away from the birdhouse to get rid of the cobwebs. She looks around, the sticks stick it out to me. Since you read the last one. Okay. I glance at TJ, but he doesn't get any indication that he might want it. The bag is covered in what looks like dirt and cobwebs. A few clumps of both dangle from the bottom. I open it carefully, and that's when I pull out a paper I can tell that's been wet a few times. It's a little crumpled, but when I unfold it, the water damage isn't bad enough that I can't read it. Still, the paper immediately splits in two this time, and I have to hold them together as I read it. It starts to the point where I have to Carl hold up his phone to give me some light. Good job, but that was a little easy, right? Next we'll find out how brave you are. I know this is already a scary test for Chase, but I know that doesn't count. Do you really remember? Get a flashlight and make sure Leo's with you. Here it is. Stay in school. It'll be cool. We'll have fun in 301. I hope you don't die. Sid. Well, quiet for a moment, the TJ giggles. I look at him, but he's covering his mouth with a hand so I can't see him smiling. That's not really a riddle, is it? I smile. Go easy on him, he was a kid. Sorry. So the old school, in room 301? I assume that's what he meant by a test of courage. Shoot, he went there all by himself? I wouldn't even do that now. Yeah, that is a little weird. The feeling that something isn't right grows inside my chest. Well, we have to break the law to get in there. We'll be trespassing. Jenna glances at TJ because we all know the Lynx wouldn't dare to break the law. Besides, it's getting late. Maybe we can go check it out tomorrow. One of us can go for you, TJ. TJ looks up at the sky where the stars are starting to twinkle through the branches. Well, if we're going to trespass, we should do it at night, right? Jenna's mouth falls open. What? TJ looks flustered. I mean, we don't have all that much time left here, so we should probably get as much as done as possible as we can. So, you're okay with breaking the law? Well, yeah, if it means we can finish this. We all stare at him. I don't know what else to say. I just really want to get this done. It feels right. We're quiet for a moment before Carl clasps his hand together. Well, alright then, let's go. We still got a few hours before I'm going to bed. Jenna sighs loudly. Alright, but I want to get back before 10 so I can finish my papers. Yeah, don't worry. Onward! Carl marches ahead of us, taking a running leap across the ditch. I look at TJ, who's still looking fidgety again. Hey, we'll all finish this before we have to leave, okay? TJ gives me a small smile. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna save right here. Because, I actually need to get ready to go somewhere. But, thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun. I know that I said I was going to be playing Among the Sleep today, but I tried that today and, you know, it didn't run well. Maybe next stream we can try it out, but, yeah. It's been a lot of fun. Ah, you know what? I actually want to go see Bandit because he's recording his session for Ferality right now, his new set. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope you guys can stick around for the raid. Again, it's been a lot of fun. I'll see you guys all soon. Bye bye.